What's up YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Primarina in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section. If you enjoy these videos, if they help you out, drop a like and let's get into it. So Primarina is pretty much the only final evolution starter that I haven't done, surprisingly. So let's have a look at it. So its stats are interesting. So we've got a very nice special attack stat, nice special defense stats, so giving us a nice bulk and a reasonable health stat. Everything else is kind of bad. So with its abilities, of course, we've got Torrent and we've got Liquid Voice here. So Torrent and Liquid Voice can actually both be used. They both have a couple of little different uses, and I'm going to go over them with these movesets. So the first one I want to have a look at is a more offensive Primarina that's bulky but does a lot of damage, and what you can change the items up and use different scenarios and stuff like that. So let's have a look at it. So we've got Moonblast here as its main stab for Fairy, and we've got Hydro Pump. So that's pretty standard there. If you don't want to run Hydro Pump, you can always run something like a little bit with better, like a little bit better accuracy. Maybe it's a signature move. You could do that. So you could have Sparkling Arrow as well. So that could be, that could definitely be useful. I like Hydro Pump because it lands really, really hard, and it just does a lot more damage, and it is a significant amount of damage as well. That I've actually found there. Now, the other move I'd have on there would be Ice Beam, which gives you some nice coverage as well. And another good move you can put on there too is Psychic. You've got Psychic and you've got Psychic Noise. We'll go with Psychic on this one, and then we'll have a look at a Liquid Voice. So we're looking at Torrent at the moment. Now, Torrent Hydro Pump is going to be doing like an enormous amount of damage. You've also got Assault Vest on there to make Primarina even bulkier on the special defensive side. So it already has a base 116, so with max health EVs, it's going to be able to take a Volt Switch and a Thunderbolt very, very well, for example. This set is probably more geared towards singles, and we'll get to some doubles in a sec there, but I would probably use this one in singles. Now, as for Terra, you can do a few different ones. You've got Fairy for Moonblast, you can go Terra Water. You could do like a defensive one, say like Terra Grass. That would be okay for any electric type moves coming in. There isn't any others. Maybe Terra Steel too. That could be a good defensive one for, say, any poison type moves coming in. So that would grant you immunity to toxic or any poison type moves and allow you to get like a free turn. So I'd probably go for Steel or Grass as defensive and Water or Fairy as offensive. Maybe if you're running like a Snow team, you could go Ice as well. That's kind of bit niche though, but yeah, I'd go with its main stab attacks there. Another one you can go is Ground too. That could be Terra type Ground to get rid of electric type moves, or you could even pop on Terra Blast as well for Terra Blast Ground. That's also quite a nice move. Pretty straightforward, but it does work very, very well. It'll allow you to hit electric types and also allow you to hit poison types too, which are going to threat, and also any incoming electric moves like Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, stuff like that. You can take no damage, Terra, get a free hit off them, and you may even get a one shot, and you may even cause a swap too, allowing you to go for a more powerful move on an incoming Pokemon like Hydro Pump or Moonblast, depending on what they go. So that's a pretty standard set there for Primarina. It works well across the board, and we've got Torrent as the ability. EV Spared, yeah, that's what I would use. It depends on your rule set too, specifically what rules you're playing. I've given this 0 because and with Quiet because you can run it with Trick Room. If you don't want to have Trick Room, you can just have like Modest and 31 or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's not outspeeding anything at all. So let's say even if I was going to run speed EVs on there, it's pretty bad. So let's drop off the let's just drop it off completely. If I was running like max speed on there, it's terrible. So it's not going to outspeed anything at all. So I would not bother running any speed EVs unless you specifically wanted to outspeed a certain counter or another opposing Primarina or something weird like that. I wouldn't really be bothered with any speed of it. It's not a fast Pokemon. So next Pokemon moveset we got here is going to be for Liquid Voice. Now we're sort of going into realms here of singles and doubles that could work for that. So Liquid Voice, let's go over that. So this obviously it's going to make the Pokemon's sound-based moves become water type. So that means Hyper Voice being a sound-based move. That's going to make that a water type move, which is really cool. Another one you've got as well here, it actually gets a lot of sound-based move, which is kind of appropriate for it, singing and stuff. So we've got Psychic Noise. Psychic Noise is good for any stalling Pokemon. Because you can prevent them from healing, and also obviously it works with Throat Spray too. So if you can see, I've got a nice Throat Spray moveset going here. It's good for poison too. It's nice, and we've got Alluring Voice. So now Alluring Voice obviously doesn't have the base power of say Moonblast, right? But you also get to activate Throat Spray here. But if you want to put Moonblast on there for more base power, you can. You've got sort of like 95 versus 80. But this one can activate your item, so, it can be just as powerful if you activate the item in the right circumstances. So we got Alluring Voice. This also has a 100% confusion chance after the opponent does get a stat rise. So if they do try and set up on you and you go for Alluring Voice, 100% confusion. So it is gimmicky, but it can be useful, or you can just swap it out for Moonblast. But we're specifically sort of looking at the Throat Spray here. So with Hyper Voice, that's got 90 base power there, which is nice. It's basically a water type move. And the other move I gave it just for coverage was Ice Beam. So that's good against like grass Pokemon and any of those threatening things. Same EVs here as I did before. Once again, I feel in singles especially, even in doubles, it works very, very nicely. It's a bulky special attacker, and it doesn't need much speed at all, unless you're really worried about a certain counter. Say you've got like a specific Pokemon that you want to get around. Maybe I would drop off the EVs, and if you needed to, drop the EVs off in health. Don't drop them off in the special attack. You want to be hitting them as hard as possible. And yeah, this one is, so we're going to have, obviously we've got Liquid Voice here, and we can make the Terra type like water. Normal, and then water, and then we got like, I would say you got same sort of ones I discussed here, same sort of Terra type I discussed here. They're both fairly similar. So like Water Fairy. If you want to go, I wouldn't go defensive on this one. Maybe you could go defensive ground. That would be about it. I don't know about those other ones though. With this kind of set, I'll be aiming to do as much damage as possible. So yeah, so you got Throat Spray. That's going to give you obviously a special attack boost on top of its already very nice special attack, and that's going to work really, really nicely. So that's a different way of running these. Also, back on this Result Fest, I just want to mention this. You can also go for choice specs. That will be a nice item to run on this too. So choice specs and Torrent is going to hit very, very hard. So that's another item you can use there. It's still going to work fine, and it's still a nice item. You just have a little bit less bulk on the special side, right? But you'll be hitting like a truck. So that's another good item for it. Let's have a look at some doubles and VGC style movesets. So they're going to be fairly similar. Now, one thing I want to mention too, so with Hyper Voice and its signature move, Sparkling Array, or however you say it, they have the same like base power. So just that's why I'm putting Hyper Voice there, or that. So the thing about, actually, I'm going to explain both the differences and how they work with different abilities and stuff. So we've got Hyper Voice on this, which is going to be very, very good. That's going to hit both the opponents. It's a sound-based move. You've also got Throat Spray on there too. Dazzling Gleam, that's going to hit both the opponents as well. So a great like spread move. I've put Blizzard on there because it still can be very handy. And if you couple it with like something like, I don't know, a Bomber Snow or a Ice Snow user, that can be quite handy too, and gets around some of your weaknesses too. And it can hit those pesky grass types. And I put Protect on there too. Protect is always very, very useful, and you can work around opponents' moves and strategies with that. So I would definitely have Protect on there. Otherwise, if you don't have Protect, you might get worn down very, very fast because it's not outspeeding much. And you can also, your ally can, you can do some good mind games with that. So I would recommend putting Protect on there. So EVs, I've done the EVs exactly the same. Now, I'm thinking if I wanted to change any EVs on there, you could dip it back in health a little bit. I'm trying to think if there's any point, because like I said, there's not much that really outspeeds it. Maybe if there's like I'm trying to think of like a hyper specific example. Let's say there's like a really like slow poison type Pokemon or a really like slow electric type Pokemon that you want to counter, you can put some extra EVs in speed if you like, but I wouldn't worry about it. Once again, Trick Room can work nicely too. So Trick Room is good because a lot of Psychic type Pokemon get that, and Psychic type Pokemon can counter the poison types that threaten Primarina, so that's not too bad. So that's how I'd run that. Terra type Water, you got like a Fairy, same kind of same kind of ones I've already discussed. So that was pretty similar to the other one. The next double set I've got here, we've got a little bit different here. So this time we've got Sparkling Area. So the difference between this one is it actually works. It hits all of the Pokemon on the field. So that actually opens you up to a few more options. So say, for example, I'm going to do some teammates here, for example. So you could have like, let's say, a Vaporeon, so you could sort of work that with a Vaporeon with Water Absorb, so that could be useful. Getting some healing and some damage off at the same time. It's basically it's just like Surf, but it also can cure a burn too. So you're probably better off running this than Surf. And you can also do like stuff like Storm Drain too with like Gastrodon. I probably should have just typed Gastrodon. Yeah, but you can also do stuff like Storm Drain with Gastrodon with it. So there are other strategies that you can do. But anyway, we'll go on some more teammates in a sec. So we've got Dazzling Gleam, Sparkling. I gave this Terra Blast Fire as something different for grass types. I thought that could be interesting, and you could like really blow some of those grass types away. Especially like Ogerpon and stuff. So you've got Protect on there, Life Orb, and Torrent. So I did a Torrent one and I did a Liquid Voice one, but essentially the EVs are similar. If you want to share any more EV spreads, you can, but I just reckon it works best this way, like Bulky and Special Attack. I think that everything else is mostly a waste, unless you're trying to live specific moves like, okay, I'll put a little bit more defense in, I'll drop the health off a bit, but yep, I would run it bulky with lots of Special Attack. I've had the most success running it that way, unless you're trying to like hyper analyze like specific little, damage calculations of certain Pokemon. I wouldn't run it any other way than that for EVs at least. Another set you can run, this is actually kind of cool. This is more of like a scientific thing rather than being super, super good. You can run like cool stuff like Liquid Voice and Perish Song. So that's kind of interesting because it changes Perish Song into a water type move, right? And of course it's sound based too. So you could do something like this. This is a lot more. This is probably this set here is based on singles, but you could absolutely adapt it to doubles. So we've got Perish Song. It's like a whirlpool trapping set. So you trap them in, and then you Perish Song or trap them in. Probably trap them in first, and then you can sort of like stall, rest off with Chesto Berry, waking you up, and then you could use Baby Doll Eyes to just keep dropping their attack if they're a physical attacker. And I've built this one very special defensive, and I've given it max health. So that way you're able to sort of Perish Song, stall them a little bit with Baby Doll Eyes, swap out on the turn they're going to faint the Perish Song, and then swap something like a good partner in that's going to be beneficial to it to be able to sponge the attack. So maybe something like, I don't know, something that could, I'd say like maybe a good ground type Pokemon would be good because like any poison and electric moves, but I probably wouldn't use that against an electric or poison type to begin with there. So yeah, just a Perish Song trap, a bit of a fun niche set there, but something interesting you could actually use, right? So you could use the Perish Song as a water type move, or you could have like, as I mentioned before, you could have like a Storm Drain Pokemon. That'd be kind of cool. And you wouldn't be affected by it either. So that could sort of be like a little combination you could actually use with those two Pokemon. So some other Pokemon that I would recommend as some partner, or that work well, I think of something else that would be similar to it. But Farigiraf. So Farigiraf, I have done a guide on Farigiraf already, but Farigiraf sort of falls in the same category. Like it has Hyper Voice as well, and it's it's similar in it's got a lot of health, and it's got a good amount of special attack. So you could definitely run these Pokemon like in that similar way. So they both got Hyper Voice, Dazzling Gleam, right? So they're gonna do like a lot of damage in spread, and also you can even Trick Room with it too. So that could be useful. You could set the Trick Room up with Farigiraf, protect with your Primarina, and then start like spamming Hyper Voice and Dazzling Gleam, or both Hyper Voice, right? So that could definitely be useful. Let me think of some other ones. I'm just thinking, so some other good ones there, I would say, I'm thinking like Rillaboom. That wouldn't be a bad teammate either. They could, easily sort of get around any of those grass type Pokemon, and even like some electrics too. That'd be like grass and electric. That would be really, really good for that as a teammate. So that would make them sort of a good combination there. Just sort of like the usual suspects. Amoonguss would be another one, like another good one too. Amoonguss is always very good in doubles, so that's another good partner. So you could have like, I've done a Amoonguss moveset too, so you could easily rage power, get the heat off Primarina White's, powers through the other like opponents and stuff like that. So that's another good one. I'm thinking Incineroar could be good as well. I mean, Incineroar's good on every single team, so Incineroar could be a good partner because that obviously is weak to water, and you can Intimidate and Parting Shot as a good combination of those two, so it works well together. Another good one, I'm trying to think, maybe Iron Hands. That could be a good one too. I'm thinking Iron Hands. It's electric. That could get at least swap into any of those other counters there, and that would like work on a Trick Room team too. So I kind of like this. Let's see if we got any more Trick Room Pokemon. So you've got. I did mention that already. So Hatterene could be a good one. Like Hatterene, that would work. That's actually not bad. So you got Hatterene for a Trick Room user. You've also got Slowking. I was just thinking that could be like Slowking Galar. That could work well because that's going to get around at least any poison type Pokemon, and you can set that up too. So that'd be kind of nice. So you can get that Trick Room going. So there are a couple of Trick Room users that could definitely work well with this Pokemon for sure. As for items, I don't know. I'd probably like Life Orb, Choice Specs, take away Protective using that. Throat Spray, they're all pretty good items. Another good one you can have, I'd probably have like, I'm going in the wrong one. I'd probably have like Covert Cloak. That's not too bad, especially if you're running that Trick Room run. The reason I say that is because like say if Trick Room's not up, at least you can block some of those secondary effects, so that can be quite handy. Otherwise, say you get Trick Room up, or you're trying to attempt to get Trick Room up, and the opponent is like really, hitting Primarina so it can't attack, or it's flinching moves and annoying stuff like that. So that can be good. We've gone over Assault Vest. Yeah, that'd probably be the items I would recommend there for sure. What else we got here? So I just want to check up some ground type Pokemon that would rather be like a good. You've got Landorus too. That could definitely work at least getting around some of the electric type Pokemon. That could be a good partner too, just with its typing and ability. And you could just you could simply just U-turn out of there, and that could sponge. Primarina could then sponge any ice type moves and water type moves. That could work, but. It depends what you're doing with it. I personally like running Primarina either under a Trick Room or running a bulky and a hard special attacker. So I think I've explained that pretty well there. As like another move that you could run to, I'm just sort of going back here to singles and to doubles as well. If you don't want to run like, say you're running Choice Specs, right? You could also do like Flip Turn on there. Flip Turn, can somewhat be handy there if you just want to quickly dip out there and get some momentum on the opponent there to get like a type advantage. That can work too, and you could still do like Terra Ground or Terra Water or Terra Fairy. That could work too. So it's just a useful move, and I consider that working well in doubles too. Maybe if you wanted to have, I don't know, for argument's sake, you wanted to have Assault Vest on there instead, right? You could just put Flip Turn on there. So that could be useful, right? Like that would be useful, like say a Pokemon like Incineroar with Intimidate, right? So you could Flip Turn and then you can use the Intimidate and the Parting Shot to give it. So that's another thing you can do there. So that's some pretty good that's some pretty good sets and info there for Primarina. Let's have a look here at a bit of a fun set. So this is the Pimp Night special. So as you know, I like to explore Pokemon that, competitive sets in meta. I'd also like to run some fun things as well. So maybe something you just want to try out for a bit of fun. So we had this Period Song set. Now we've got a Pimp Night specialist. So I noticed it did get Misty Explosions. I thought I want to do lots and lots of damage with Misty Explosions. Sort of like nuke the field, right? So this set has similar EVs as I like to run on Primarina. I think that the EVs just work very nicely on it. So ability doesn't really matter at all, so don't even worry about that. So we got Misty Terrain. Now, Misty Terrain is purely there for Misty Explosion. So Misty Explosion, obviously under the Misty Terrain, is 1.5 times power. So with that up, it's going to be like a lot more powerful. It's already 100 base power already. So we've got Calm Mind there to boost our special attack, and we've got Life due to sort of do a bit of healing. You could put Rest and Chesto on there too, instead of what I've done here. I've put Fairy Feather on there to, further boost the Fairy type's attack, and I've got Terra Fairy too. So this is just a ginormous nuke that's going to go off and, take out a really annoying bulky Pokemon, right? So I thought it was a bit of a fun set. You could maybe try, or you could incorporate another set into. So that's what these videos are all about. Is just get thinking about different sets, and maybe you see like two sets you like, and you could merge them together, or take a little bit out what I've done and put it onto another set. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for most of the movesets here. Let's have a last look at all of its moves. I always like to do this just to go over if I've got any thoughts. So we'll bring up its status moves here. So definitely can do you could do a bulky Calm Mind set for singles. You could do like a Rest and Calm Mind, and maybe like Rest, Calm Mind, and then maybe Sleep Talk or Chesto, insert Water move and Fairy move. That could work too, make it very bulky. You could do like a Draining Kiss set, I would say, something like that. Does it get Draining? I'm pretty sure that does get, yeah. So you could do like something like this. This is definitely more singles. So Rest, Draining Kiss. I would probably put Chesto on that, because Draining Kiss gives a lot of recovery back after you get like enough boost up. So you've got Calm Mind, Rest, Draining Kiss. With these like Calm Mind sets, always go like defensive. That gives you enough EVs to be able to live like physical hits. So we've got Draining Kiss. So at the moment, we're getting some good recovery. So we're going to go to its special attack now. Chilling Water would be excellent, because that would keep dropping the opponent's attack. So this could be like a really, really tanky set. And it's still going to hit pretty hard, because it's got 126 base. So if this was given time to set up, I think it would be very good. So you've got Draining Kiss to heal yourself. You've also got a 75% of the damage dealt getting healed back. And you've got Chilling Water, which 100% drop the opponent's attack. And it's a water type move. So it's going to be very, very annoying to feint this Pokemon, right? And let's say if you got poison or something like that, if push comes to shove, you can just go Rest, right? So a bulky stalling Pokemon there, that would actually work very nicely in singles. It'd take too much time to set up in doubles, but just something interesting there you could go for Primarina. Sorry, I got a phone call like a minute ago, so I had to quickly turn that off. So let's have a quick look here. So it does get Haze and Light Script. I think that's super incredible. Nothing amazing there. We went over Perish Song. You can use that with Liquid Voice. Maybe some Storm Drain combinations there, or some Perish Song Trapper. Now it does get some support moves too, like Helping Hand and Life Dew. It does get them, but I don't know. I don't know if it's really cut out to be a super support Pokemon. It could be with like Baby Doll Eyes and Helping Hand and Life Dew, but I don't know. I feel like you're wasting out on that big special attack stat, so I don't think it's going to be super suited for that. That's it's pretty small on its status moves there. Let's have a look at the special moves. So we've gone over most of these already. Some of the ones I may not have included was Energy Ball, so that might be a good move slot there if you want to hit opposing water type Pokemon. But I see that mainly as a throwaway move, like your fourth move you've put on there. So I would definitely not pick that first. We've gone over most of these. Psychic and Psychic Noise. Psychic Noise is really good for like annoying stuff like, say, Toxapex. You can prevent healing for 2 turns, or stalling Pokemon, right, that are a pain. You can definitely stop them, and with liquid voice, or like say throat, with like torrent and throat spray. That could work very nicely too. Shadow Ball's another move you could use for a bit of coverage. Once again, nothing super amazing. Stored power. You might be able to get something going there with Calm Mind on that bulky set. It does get Weather Ball. This could be introduced to like, say, like snow. But then again, you're probably just better off using Blizzard. And then you've got like a whole bunch of other moves there. So Dazzling Gleam, we've gone over that. Mist Explosion, we sort of talked about that. And Whirlpool, we sort of talked about that with trapping. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Not too much on the physical side. Oh my goodness. So we got to do a physical set to finish this video off, right? We got to do a Pimp Night special. So this Pokemon has absolutely horrendous physical attack. So let's do a physical attack. I can't wait to do this. So so I would absolutely, if you really want to do a physical set for some memes, we got a physical. Let's go max health. We'll do Torrent as well, I think, because we don't have any. Yeah, so we got Aqua Jet and Liquidation. So we have a bit of priority. I like that. Acrobatics, I also quite like that as well. That's interesting. Triple Axle. Ooh, that's nice. Play Rough, I like that. Triple Axle's good. Ice Spinner 80 versus this. So Triple Axle could. Ice Spinner's probably better because it's not going to miss, or you're not going to get like one attack. So, you know what? Bugger it. We'll go for Triple Axle so we get them 3 hits. So we've got Aqua Jet, Play Rough, Triple Axle. You could just put on Liquidation there. That could work. So you go like Terra Water, Liquidation, Aqua Jet. Or you could even do Acrobatics as well, like Terra Flying. That would be rather interesting as well. Whether you outspeed anything is my sort of main worry there. We don't have any sound-based moves at all. You know what? I would just go for like Liquidation. So we got like a physical set. That would work rather nicely. So you could pop a Choice Band on there. Or you could pop like Assault Vest. And yeah, it's going to be an absolutely incredible set. Terra type. You could do like Terra type Water, Terra type Ice, Terra type. Yeah, Ice would be interesting. Like Triple Axle, that damage would be crazy. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope I gave you at least a good idea of how to use Primarina. I gave you some thoughts there. If there's any Pokemon you'd like to see me use or cover, put it below in the comment section. I've done a ginormous playlist already on Scarlet and Violet, so check that out before you maybe put a comment below there. I have covered a lot of Pokemon already. And yes, if you enjoyed it, drop a like, people, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.